press the bell icon on YouTube and don't miss another update.
Namaskar. Welcome to another episode of Editorial. Okay, today my editorial is going to be a lot of number crunching. So people who gets kind of bored with number crunching, I think today's editorial is not for you. Today I am going to get into a lot of number crunching because recently and lately a lot is spoken about Bangladesh and Bangladesh's GDP. So what I wanted to kind of find out today and what I wanted to do today is basically compare GDPs of a few countries near us. Compare GDP of China, Bangladesh, Pakistan, Sri Lanka, our GDP, and compare it with others and find out where we stand and how were others doing compared to us. That's number one. Number two is I want to focus, my second section of this editorial will be to focus on why is Bangladesh doing so well. Is it something that happened lately or have they been working on it? My second topic for the day is the Prime Minister, Mr. Narendra Modi, addressed the nation today at 6 p.m. Let's just briefly understand what he spoke to the nation. Let's get right into the show. The Prime Minister addressed the nation. He said that while the lockdown is lifted, but somewhere down the line, we still have to be very careful. We have to be cautious. We have to take care of ourselves. We have to take care of ourselves. We have to take care of the family. We have to take care of the community and ensure that we maintain social distancing and all of that. Put our mask and all of that. So that's something that he emphasized. He spoke about the vaccines to be coming in shortly, and he also reassured the nation that the vaccine will be delivered to each and every individual in this country. He is making arrangements for that. He also spoke about how our country is better when it comes to recovery, how our country is better when it comes to fatality rate, and how our country has lower caseloads compared to Brazil and United States. So these were the points that he made in his short speech to the nation today. That said, the Prime Minister made no mention about the economy in his address. He made no mention about the migrant workers in his address. He made no mention about the job losses in his address. And he made no mention about what is going to be the future course of action as far as economy is concerned in his address. And like he rightly said, I think we should be careful. We should maintain all precautions as we were told. So that was the Prime Minister's address to us. So, okay, like I started, let us compare Indian GDP growth with countries nearby. Now, let's talk about from 2016 to 2019. So, we will not try and compare the previous government to this government and this government to the previous government and all of that. All that political thing we will not do, and we will compare it till 2019 because till 2019 things were okay. There was no pandemic, nothing. So we will compare from 2016 to 2019 and figure out how our country is faring. How our country is faring near us. So let's start with India. India, 2016, our GDP was 8.26%. 2017, it came down to 7.04%. 2018, it further came down to 6.12%. 2019, it came down to 5.02%. This is how Indian GDP stands. Now, let's go to the next country, that is Pakistan. Let's look at how Pakistan is doing. Pakistan in 2016 had a GDP growth of 5.53%. 2017, 5.55%. 2018 grew by 5.84% and 2019 crashed to 0.99%. So this is how Pakistan's GDP looks. Now let's go to Sri Lanka. 2016, Sri Lanka was doing around 4.49%, fell to 3.58% in 2017. further fell to 3.31% in 2018 and in 19 fell to 2.98%. So this is how Sri Lanka GDP looks. And now let's come to Bangladesh. Bangladesh 2016 did a GDP growth of 7.11%. 2017 did a GDP growth of 7.28%. 2018 did a growth of 7.86% and 2019 grew to 8.15%. So Bangladesh, mind you, has been steadily growing from 7.11 to 8.15. In fact, if I go even further down, 2013 onwards, they started growing. 2013 was 6.01%. 2014 6.06%, 2015 6.55%, but forget all that. Let's talk about 2016 onwards. 2016 onwards, there was a steady growth in Bangladesh's gross domestic product. Let's talk about China now. China in 2016 grew by 6.85%. 17 further grew by 6.95%. 18 fell to 6.75% and in 19 fell to 6.11%. So this was China's growth. So if you actually look at all of these countries together, let us just keep all of these countries into one graph. If you notice, India was leading in 2016, but in 2017 somewhere, Bangladesh overtook India and even China overtook India at that same time. And from there on, Bangladesh has been steadily growing, and India has been steadily falling. China too was growing better than India, but China too had its dip somewhere after 2018 and in 2019. So the most important player and the most successful player in this GDP game race was Bangladesh. Bangladesh grew right from 2016 and grew steadily to 2019. So this was it. So while we were talking about China, while we were talking about Brazil, while we were talking about South Africa and other countries, Bangladesh was steadily growing. Now, in the next section, let us find out what was Bangladesh actually doing to grow. That's what we'll talk about. In 2019, the Asian Development Bank called Bangladesh the fastest growing economy in the Asian Pacific region. In fact, since 2009 to 2019, Bangladesh has grown 188%, which is a fabulous growth by any standards. HSBC said that they would be the 26th largest economy in the world by 2030. Bangladesh just didn't grow overnight. It was not any fluke, it was not any luck. In fact, they had planned their growth and they had worked for their growth. This is the point that I wanted to make. Exports of Bangladesh increased and diversified. And if you go to see, Bangladesh exports grew by 4.5% in 2018 and has increased by around 10.1% by 2019. In addition, Bangladesh is now the 4th largest rice producer and the 2nd largest jute producer, the 4th largest mango producer and the 5th largest vegetable producer in the world. They are also the 4th largest inland fish producer in the world. So they were always an agrarian country and they focused on their agriculture and they ensured that their agriculture, they did well and they started producing so that they can supply to the world. So they became one of the major exporters of agricultural products in the world. So that was one of the big thing about Bangladesh. Now, there's one more thing that I want to tell you. You see, Bangladesh had exported 12 industrial robots to South Korea. In fact, they had also exported 4 ships to India. So it was not just about agriculture alone, they diversified. Of course, the backbone of Bangladesh Bangladesh's export is garments. Bangladesh's garments are phenomenally popular. Popular in United States, popular in Australia, popular in Canada, popular in China. And Bangladesh exports of garment rose by 2.7% in the year 2018. And again, by around 11.5% in the year 2019. So there too, Bangladesh was doing phenomenally well. Their core competency, which is garments, they did phenomenally well. Now, all these were steady growth, step by step, well planned and well executed. Now, another very important thing that Bangladesh is doing is Bangladesh's educational system produces more than 5 lakh university graduates every year and more than 65,000 graduates receiving training in information technology enabled service. Bangladesh was always known as an agrarian country. Okay, Bangladesh had two major exports like we just discussed, agriculture and garments. Bangladesh wanted to move into the IT sector, wanted to get into the information technology sector, and Bangladesh actually worked towards it. So therefore, they built universities, they built graduates, and they ensured that these graduates were given infrastructure to practice and perfect their work. Now, to facilitate this transition, Bangladesh had developed more than 8,000 digital centers across the country to help provide various digital services to the citizen. They developed 8,000 digital centers. See, the point that I'm trying to make is, what I'm fascinated all of a sudden when I was reading about Bangladesh for the last 2-3 days, what I'm fascinated is, they worked to a plan. This small country worked to a plan. They had their very, very bad times. Look at the way this small country has actually grown, actually planned its growth and actually grown. And somewhere down the line, this is the country that we should be keeping our eyes on. This is the country that we should be looking forward to. International investors have also taken notice of Bangladesh. In fact, Bangladesh, the international foreign direct investment has increased by around 42.9% since 2019 and 2018-2019. 42.9%, and most of this has been in the fields of electricity, garments and food. So food, electricity, garment is where people are investing. So the reason I'm saying all this is, like I said before, I repeat myself, Bangladesh had a beautiful plan. Bangladesh worked on that plan. Bangladesh executed that plan, and today Bangladesh is cruising towards prosperity. Now, two things that one needs to talk about. One is the fact that somewhere down the line, I think as a country that is competing in the world, we need to understand what are our other competitors doing. Bangladesh is one of our competitors as far as economy is concerned, as far as the global market is concerned. One needs to keep an eye on what the competitors are doing. Somewhere down the line, we were so focused on China and Australia and other countries that we lost sight of a country, of a small country just next to us, which was making rapid progress. Till I see you next time, Namaskar.